My favorite quality about Pops is that he's incredibly honest.
Greetings and salutations. A special edition, a midday Pops. I know. It's crazy. So this is a cool opportunity to be able to talk about Winter Jam. It's a faith-based Christian tour that I've been working with for years and have known many of the artists, and they're coming through. The tour kicks off in January. And actually, kind of right here in Central Florida, right? Their first show is in Tampa. Their third show is in Jacksonville. They got one in Mobile, Alabama in between. So they're going to be all over the country doing different things. Great acts. It's an incredible tour. Lots of fun, lots of music for like $15, like super, super cheap. And we're going to talk about that, talk about who's on the tour this year, and hopefully have Austin French on with us briefly. He can talk about the tour and music, writing music, doing things like that. It'd be great to catch up with him again. We have not chatted in a long while thanks to the pandemic and such. So with that said, let me first say thank you to our newest member, Scott Westbrook. He has become a member, and I appreciate that so much. He's awesome. And for those of you who are asking about my schedule and those kinds of things that are coming up, next week, of course, on Tuesday, there will be Talk Hard at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time. As usual, this will be a best of, worst of for 2022. It's our last Talk Hard of the year. So there will be more of a like a best of show or replay show on the 27th. So the 20th will be our last Talk Hard. Make sure I'm checking my schedule, get that right. So, and then on the 21st, if you are not a member, hopefully Scott can join us, right? Because member only stream. That'll be on the 21st, chatting with the members. All of that's in the description if you want to connect, join, support, partner with us, that kind of thing. It's all in there. We'll have some giveaways and some different things like that headed into the Christmas and New Year time. So that will be coming up. Then I will be on with Matt, a Common Idiot, on the 22nd at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And then you'll see videos dropping. I've been doing reviews of Tulsa King, been doing reviews of Wednesday, a couple movie reviews, comic book stuff. So plenty of stuff to come up. But every Saturday morning cartoons with this guy. That's right. Saturday morning cartoons, Popspective at 9 a.m. and 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. So it'll be 9 a.m. will be my video on the X-Men animated series. And then at 9:30, the Batman animated series. Now, they're not 30 minutes long, so but it has been great to revisit these. They celebrated their 30th anniversary this year, but I was kind of late to the game of doing this watch through and revisit. I've been enjoying it, loving it very much. So hopefully that's something you can get some value of as well. And beginning on Sundays, first of the year will be my Watch Your Story series. But this Sunday, I have a special edition interview I had with James Mealy talking about comic books, but more specifically, where to jump in, like how to get into comic books, how to read, how to collect, all these kinds of things. Jamie Lee that will drop on Sunday morning at 9 a.m. So you can want to check that out as well. So Krampus Jeebus is here. Hey there, my brother. Hope you're doing well. Hope things are going well. Merry Christmas and all of that. But yeah, let's talk about Winter Jam briefly and hop right over to some of the details here with you. But like I said, I've been covering Winter Jam, been part of the Winter Jam for shape form, back to news, meeting them on site, on location, those kinds of things. It definitely is one of those opportunities that I've been very blessed to be of, and my family and I have been able to participate in different ways many, many times. Now, their site has a lot of media playing, so I'm going to try to pull this up quickly, kind of give you a quick rundown, and not chill, because we are not here. Definitely not been getting along. We have good partners here for a minute. So, but I can tell you this is, it's a, they have Jam Nation tickets. You get in, you have like more like early access and have your place for admission when they open the door. Like I said, it's $15 at the door. And that's sort of like where you can kind of run into sort of like, I don't know, for lack of a better term, some free for all stuff. So it is a little trickier to get the seats that you might want. By the way, that screen is not wanting to load for me at all. So let me just read it to you. Sorry about that. Actually, let me do this. I'm going to take let me do a screenshot, and then I will share that. But no, it's a great lineup as always. There's sort of like a beginning part of the night that kind of comes into play. I think that kind of sets the stage. So it's not working. So that is going to be sort of like the lead up to PreJam artists. That's Thrive Worship, Sean B, and RENEE. And there's going to be a speaker that night. His name is Zane Black. He will also, then when you get into, the lights shut down, we start the show, we get to the main event, so to speak. NewSong, of course, who is the host administrators of this tour. They'll be there doing their thing. Then you run into the different artists from Ann Wilson to Disciple to, again, Austin French, who I mentioned, who will hopefully be with us, Andy Mineo, Jeremy Camp, and We the Kingdom. Now, for those of you who don't know, Jeremy Camp, of course, had a biography that dropped in theaters. So a lot of people will be there to see Jeremy Camp. It's called I Still Believe. And, of course, We the Kingdom is just really broken through as being a very big sort of Christian faith worship type experience. And I have to be honest, even if you're not a believer, you share my faith, this could be a fun night to go out. Like I said, it's $15. So you can just kind of go out, you can kind of hang out, you can see a couple things, those kinds of things, take it in for yourself. So yeah, I said hey to Krampus, but hey, Whitechapel's here. Hey there, my brother. Hope you're also doing well. I've got a couple of your cards pulled. I do not have very many on your list. Only a few scattered ones, but I do have them, gathering them up. Hopefully we'll get them in the mail to you next week. So hopefully you're doing well. Thank you, my friend. Thank you for always being supportive of the channel on social media and such. I mean, I had to hire you as a social media consultant if I had a budget, because you're definitely out there sharing nearly every single thing, and I surely appreciate it. So like I said, so generally what happens is you have sort of a start of the night, then the band start, and they kind of go through their different progressions. Most artists only play for about 3 to 5 songs. So you're looking at about 15 to 20 minutes or so. They're not too long. It's a great sampling of different kinds of music, right? So we're not, trust me, there'll be a huge difference between Ann Wilson and Disciple, just so you know, a massively different style of music. This is what this tour has always done, right? So you have a more of like a rap artist like Andy Mineo with more like heavier rock next to Disciple. You have more like a mainstream artist, someone that's already like award-winning, headlining kind of artist like Jeremy Camp, as well as like worship music or like those type of things, which is like We the Kingdom, and someone like Austin, who's just kind of broken through in his own little way. And just definitely finding a lane that really fits him, and really does showcase diversity in basically modern Christian music. Like, it's just not what it was, when we were kids. It's just completely different now. The genres have opened up. The sort of industry, if you will, has really identified artists and the niches and focus of certain musicians with certain fans. And then what NewSong has done decades ago, because I know it's over 20 years now, they have partnered with the lowest cost plan to bring as many artists as they could in a tour, to put them in a venue where you have 10, 15, 20,000 people who can at least experience that, and then have a night to just escape, right? So you have huge church groups that go, like massive. I mean, we took youth groups, we organized families to go, things like that, because again, $15 a person, it's a manageable price point. It used to be even cheaper than that. So it's again, you're looking at like, a buck or two per artist. Plus, when you go around and meet these tables, you go around these tables. Not all the artists are usually after the show, but every now and again you can meet the artists along the way. But everyone has opportunity to go to these tables, and that's where you can get copies of their CD and merchandise and things like that. And it usually is significantly cheaper than even their online price, because it's there face to face. It's like taking a brick and mortar store on tour to go to these different places. So that's the general gist of the tour and who's there. Let me run through the cities and dates with you as well. I wish I could share this. It is not really. First off, their site is just got all sorts of little animations and things like that. But you can go over to jamtour.com and it will redirect you to the appropriate site. They did do a good job of changing that before because it wouldn't always do that. So now it changes the URL, but you'll see that it says WJ 2023. On the 13th of January, they kick off the tour in Tampa. Then they go to Mobile, Alabama, then Jacksonville. They only do like 4 nights at a time. So it'll be a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or it'll be a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So first weekend will be south. So it'll be Tampa, Mobile, Jacksonville. Then up in the northwest. So it'll be like Grand Rapids, Michigan, Cincinnati, Ohio, Knoxville, Tennessee. And again, all of these things are there. They're usually Facebook links, they're Twitter links. And of course, you can get tickets for Jam Nation in here as well. I think that's still an option. Yep, Jam Nation is still there as well, which is more like you can pre-purchase your ticket. You have early access, things like that. Otherwise, it's the $15 at the door. Then of course they run through everything on like the eastern side of the country. So from West Virginia, Illinois, Kentucky, back to Ohio, Michigan, Indiana, Tennessee, Georgia, Missouri, Indiana, Iowa, Kansas, Louisiana, Oklahoma, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Missouri, Oklahoma again, back to Mississippi, Alabama, South Carolina, Mississippi, North Carolina, Kentucky, Arkansas, Idaho. Oh, they go out west. So Idaho, Washington, Oregon, and Washington. Wow, that's good. They have the West Coast, some dates in here too at the end. That takes us to March. So you literally have like 40 stops in like 3 months. It's like a crazy tour. And when you if you were to see this, you see literally like 24 of these buses and trailers and these setup teams and the behind the scenes and the stuff that happens with the artists and the people that have put on a show of this scale is really something to be seen. It's really, really cool. And like I said, it's not like anything else you're going to see because you generally wouldn't wouldn't have an opportunity to go to a concert where you would have sort of an eclectic mix of different type of genres of music, right? So you get everything from something that's more like old school, like a NewSong, and rap music, more like Andy Ominio's work, versus like Disciple is this year sort of like harder rock representative, right? So it's always mixed up, and it is really, really fascinating to not only get to experience those, so maybe that's something that would be new to you, but it is also cool to meet different people who may be fans of certain genres and things like that you wouldn't normally meet. So, like I said, Austin is due to be here. I've interviewed him when he was on Winter Jam, I think last time. I don't know if he was on Winter Jam in between, because sometimes there's like the East Coast side, the West Coast side of the tour, and they're split up. And I don't know which piece I talked to him on last time, but hence I have the shirt. So that's my Freedom Ham, which is a parody of his first breakout song, which was called Freedom Hymn. So we had a good talk, and I was very happy that he was able to hopefully fit us in, and he'll be hopefully joining us here relatively soon. So, but if any of you are popping in, or if you're catching this on a rewatch, if you've ever been to Winter Jam, or you have comments or thoughts or memories or anything like that, it'd be really cool to hear from you. It's always kind of a really sort of rejuvenating experience to kind of take a break, escape to an actual concert venue, which is not something that I don't know about you guys. I don't do a lot of that anymore. So when we have done this, it has really been a great chance to sort of unplug, charge your batteries. You know what I mean? Like my wife actually, I think a few weeks ago, we were talking about how much she misses doing this kind of stuff. She misses doing small scale church concerts and doing venue events like this. And she misses some of that because this last few years has just messed all of that up. They've done like virtual concerts and things like that. But you guys know, it's not the same, man. It's like, we're all on screens anyway. So the last thing I want is to really consume something that I'm looking forward to, or that I get so much value out of through a screen as well. Like what I used to get it in person. So it is great to see all of this kind of back up and running on a scale like this. And like I said, it's going to be right around the corner, guys. We are literally 2 weeks from the end of the year. And beyond that, it's going to be, just a little bit right after that. So, Oh, thank you, Whitechapel. Listen. I know. I thank you so much. I just appreciate it. I enjoy meeting people, getting to know them, and it's been really cool to get to know you more. And obviously, Whitechapel has shared with me some photos of his card collection, and been able to connect with him a little bit, and maybe swap some cards and that kind of thing. So it's really pretty cool. It's kind of what you look forward to in all of this, man. It's like I kind of joke about it being Pops's little card / comic shop universe here. So I'm very happy about it. So bear with me. I'm double checking my emails, making sure I didn't have any emails from Austin's folks or anything like that, just in case, because we're waiting for him or not. So like that. But yeah, if you're pretty much anywhere in the sort of like east side of the country, there are, dozens of locations. There's probably 30 something to 40 spots around the country. So you should be something most areas you can get to. And then of course there's that last weekend on the far northwest, Idaho and Oregon and Washington. So there's a couple dates up there too. But again, you go to jamtour.com. Actually, let me pull up this. I can do this. I'll share you the city link, folks, so you can see that map and you can see if there's a city that's near you that would work. And that doesn't matter if you're doing that now or if you're doing that on a rewatch. So, but with that, we have our guest with us, Mr. French himself. I'm so happy to go talk to him again. It's like this post-pandemic world. It's kind of cool to be able to connect with people again. How are you, my brother?
Oh man, I'm doing so well. Thanks for having me on.
Oh man, it's so cool. Look, so I'm representing. Got my Freedom ham on.
Yes,
So
the Freedom Hamster. Those are limited. Those are like a limited edition. Those are special.
Well, I don't know, folks. If you want the Pops shirt right off my back, it would have to cost you. Then I'm not sure I'm ready to part with it on this. That ain't exactly how I roll, but I understand what Austin's getting at. So. Yeah, he's moved on to Freedom Fries now. He's got a Freedom.
That's right,
Fries
Freedom Fries.
I'm scoping out the merch. So, how are you, my brother? How are things post-pandemic?
Life has been a whirlwind. God taught us a lot through the pandemic, and man, I am holding every day captive. I think that's kind of what God's taught us the most. And so, whether it's with my family, whether it's with my career, whether it's with music, whatever in general, I just want to be in the room, right? I want to be there, not worry about what's coming tomorrow or what I did yesterday. Like, I want to understand the goodness of God in this moment.
Okay, that's awesome, man. That's great. Think that's heavy stuff, man. And it's I was so excited to be able to, obviously see Jam Tour continue on, doing its thing with an incredible lineup as well, which we talked about briefly, but. Then of course your name is on there. And I'm like, I'm reaching out, chasing and knocking on doors going, we got to figure something out. I want to be at the end of his schedule as much as I can. So in case I can have longer, I will take every minute I can get. So what's it like to feel like, hey, listen, I'm going back out to this massive stadium experience called Winter Jam? Cause it is not like anything else, brother. Right.
That's right. It is wild. I grew up going to Winter Jam. Like I was like a kid in the audience. I remember telling my mom, I was in Greenville, South Carolina. I'll never forget. Like I went to Winter Jam for my birthday. My mom took me up there for my birthday, and I look at the stage and I look at my mom and I think I want to do this for the rest of my life. And that didn't mean hopping up on a stage that day. That was 13-year-old me. That was a part of a 4-person youth group. And my mom just was like, hey, if you want to do this one day, you need to learn to be faithful where you're at. And so that's kind of what I did. I went back and wrote songs for my 4-person youth group and realized that after I invited the whole youth group to be a part of the youth band, we had no more youth group to sing to. So it was like, to stand on the stage, fast forward now, I'm 28. To stand on the stage and just be so grateful to be on this side of things. It blows me away. Really, there really isn't anything like this. There's so many artists, so much happening in this night. And man, I just pray that Jesus breaks out and does something special. We're just honored to be a part of it.
It's always such a great way. My wife had just said this recently because she was talking about how she's looking forward to like the recharge your battery experience of the night. There's something for everyone. You get to meet fans that you wouldn't normally run into because they mix and blend genres so much.
Yeah.
For those of you that can stay up that late, I mean, you get a chance to meet the artists at the end
Yep.
afterwards and stuff. So that's always really cool too, especially when you've
Oh, yeah.
interacted. We've interacted this way, or we've interacted on a radio, but we haven't, met face to face for a hug, those kinds of things. And
Yeah.
is it really cool to like have the opportunity to meet that many people? Because again, on scale,
Yeah.
this is crazy when you're talking about night after night, 3-4 nights a week.
Yeah.
Thousands of people are there who I may have heard Freedom Hymn, may have heard a
Yeah.
couple other songs, and now they're like, Austin French. I didn't even know who Austin French was. I mean, I knew the song, but I
Yeah.
didn't know Austin French. And next
Yeah.
thing you know, you're face to face with all these people. It's surreal, right?
It really is. Yeah. To hear the stories. I'm a stories guy. I collect stories, actually. One thing that we're doing at Jesus on Winter Jam this year is I love people so much. Like, to be honest, I sing the same songs like at every show because these are the songs that I've written. But what's different about every show is the people. And so that's what I love about Winter Jam the most is getting to stand in those lines and meet people and hear stories. And this year we're doing something special. We have this thing called a Jesus Can wall. And at my merch table, people can pick up these Jesus Can sticky notes. And we're going to have a Jesus Can wall that they can write what Jesus has done in their life, their testimony, and leave it on the wall. And we collect those stories. Actually, I'm making a book out of them. I'm just like reading, and I read them before we go on stage every night, just to remind everybody why we do what we do. And so, yeah, any chance I can get to hear someone's story, I'm a sucker for that. And yeah, so I'm so excited to just be in the room with so many people that have a story that matters, and hopefully get to hear as much as I can.
Yeah, and we have all the links in the socials below. So if you connecting with him through IG or through Twitter
Yeah.
or whatever, you'll see samples of this, and you'll see him singing about it, and you'll see. And I've seen a couple where he just holds a sticky note up, and you're just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And I don't know, obviously, all of the folks that will be seeing this video or whatever, but I've kind of ramped up my What's Your Story concept because I had a whole channel devoted to just that before.
Wow.
And now with the pop culture stuff kind of getting to where it is, I'm kind of wrapping that back in. Actually, that starts on January 1st. So every Sunday morning at 9 Eastern time, like you said, there's something so amazing about people's stories and journeys, right?
Yeah.
What is one of the things that you think that kind of unites us all that people wouldn't necessarily think about?
Oh, I think it's the transformation aspect of meeting Jesus. Like, if you've met Jesus, if you're a Christ follower, there is a story of who I was and no, I'm not. Because he does change the room. Like, he changes the heart. He changes who you are. And I think that's different. Like, that's different than hearing a song. That's different than going to a different country. Like, they may change you for a minute or a second, or like it may change your perspective for a minute. But Jesus changes your life, like who you were. Like, that's a big deal. The story of Lazarus always comes to mind. That Lazarus was dead in a grave, and he came out, dead man walking, breathing, and he was different. He was alive. Like that. Scripturally, that's like Scripture says that we were dead in our sins, and because of Jesus, if we accept him as our Savior, we've come to life. Like, we have newness of life, born again. Like, that's a huge deal. And so I think no matter what story I read, no matter what story I hear, I love hearing the transformation, right? Because whether it's a small transformation, if someone's just met Jesus, they're still like learning how to walk in their new life, and they're understanding what that feels like, or someone who's really been like rescued from a long time ago of just like, man, this is where I was, and this is all that God's done now. It's such a beautiful reminder that he changes people. Like, he changes us, and I'm grateful for that aspect.
Yeah, it's been a really cool experience to get to partner with Winter Jam in some way, shape, or form for so many years, because I've gotten to know so many of you guys too. And on a show like this, you start to have at least there are moments where you guys get to share a little bit of that about yourselves, the experience that you have. And of course, NewSong, I mean, these guys share this stuff on their sleeve, telling stories and intimate moments in their lives and things like that. And so then when you start to throw out 40 something dates with thousands of people, it's a really cool experience to get to be a part of. And I'm really happy that you're back. How many is this, your second or your third time?
This will be my second time. Yeah.
Okay. I remember we talked last time, but I couldn't remember if you were on again because there's a West Coast leg too. So sometimes you don't know which
Yeah.
leg. Yeah. So
Yeah.
but now he's going to start down here in our home state of Florida, the free state of Florida.
Woo.
They'll be starting in Tampa, starting back up in Jacksonville with a night in Alabama, but they are everywhere, folks. The link right there is for the cities list. You can go right there to that site. If you don't have tickets, you've got to get it on your reservation there. So you get your $15 at the door, or go to Jam Nation and get in early and get all that button up.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I
And
love this tour. I'm so excited.
If you want more from this guy, you just go right there to the link and go right on over there, Austin's website and that kind of thing. So you got all that stuff. So, but yeah, you got 2 albums under your belt, right? You had, I met you when we were you were Wide Open had been out. Now you've done Wake Up Sleeper.
Yeah.
You've had some different songs off of that music, a couple of chart hits and things like that. Yeah. How are you still writing and creating and stuff like that? Are you kind of like a perpetual writer, or how does that work for you?
Yeah, I feel like I'm always writing. That's kind of just how, that's how we've been able to do this thing. It's just like, if God's doing something, we want to write it down, and He's always doing something. So yeah, we've been writing music. Actually, I'm setting up rights during Winter Jam, like during the mornings of Winter Jam. I'll be on Zoom with some guys in Nashville, and we're working on a new project. So yeah, we're just finishing up some stuff for that. And I'm writing all the time, which I'm very grateful for. It's such a sweet way to express these timestamps of what God's done in my life. And I can't wait to share some new stuff. We actually just released also not too long ago a live record, or a live EP. So if you want a little taste of what Winter Jam will feel like from us, you can go check out our Live from Texas record that we released this year. And so we're so excited to do this, and I love writing music. So we got some new music on the way too.
Well, that's so cool, folks. And all these links are in the description. You can connect with Austin in that way. And I do want to take a pause to say hey to Zax. He's one of my members, really become a close friend. And Zax is calling from the Great White North of Canada. So cool. Folks. Oh yeah. So yeah, this is it is really fascinating too. And again, you as an artist, you run into this also, but it's like the world has shrunk because of all of this internet stuff. So, it's only a week or 2 ago, I'm doing an interview or conversation with someone in Japan, and I had a live stream once where it was like 3 different countries, and you're just like, this couldn't have happened 15, 20 years ago. It's just, So I want to go back to writing though. So what would be a tip that you'd have for like aspiring musician or somebody like that? How to manage it within the chaos of your day? Do you have like a notebook? Or are you a digital writer? How do you manage all that? Because those brainstorm moments that just kind of come and go. So if we know how to grab them, how to grab a hold.
Totally. I'm a titles guy, and I'm also like a melody guy. So a lot of my songs start on my phone, my voice memos. So I look like a crazy person, but like I probably have thousands of voice memos of just little melody lines that pop in my head. And then just little ideas, little choruses of stuff that I'm, living through. And I just try to write a song a day. They're not always good. They're just like, it's kind of like this muscle of saying, okay, I'm committing to the process of writing down what I see, what I feel, and what I'm experiencing. The more you do that, I think the better you get at expressing the tangible of what we can touch and see and smell to how you express it to other people. And so, that's kind of a way I do that, is like I just write little jingles or little things every day that I just feel like, okay, maybe this is something, maybe it's not. Sometimes they turn into something. Most of my songs start that way. And then, there's also thousands of little jingles that never make it anywhere. They just kind of,
I want some of these jingles that don't make it. That's what I want. I want a Pops jingle from Austin French. I mean, that's what I want. We have a new opening to the show. We have our own Pops jingle, maybe. So
there you go. There you go.
You have one more date before the end of the year coming up here soon, and then you kind of get to have some Christmas time. What is French Christmas this year? Because I've seen some different Christian Christmas things going on in the French family on your social media and things like that. What's French Christmas 2023 look like?
Woo! All right, French Christmas for us. We usually actually try to do a little Christmas show on either Facebook Live or whatever. We'll see what we're doing this year. It always
Okay.
kind of comes through of like, hey, do we want to do this? Like,
Oh, yeah.
are kiddos up for this? So we'll probably do something. I don't know what it'll be yet. Like, there's not a lot of planning that goes along in that. It's kind of just like spur of the moment, like, hey, do we want to do this? Let's do this. And we just kind of go for it because I think some of the most fun memories come from like, hey, let's just experience this together. And so,
Very cool.
yeah, well, we'll see what happens. But yeah, French Christmas for us. I get to go home. I'll go home tonight, home for the weekend. And then I have one Christmas show actually that's in my hometown where I grew up. And then we get to have Christmas as a family after that. So we'll see. Well, we've been real busy this year, but we may be doing something online pretty soon.
Awesome. I know you're on a time crunch, but I also asked to be at the end of the time. Do I have a couple more minutes or no? You got to run.
Yeah. I got a few more minutes.
Okay, let's do it. So last time we talked about your guilty pleasure, and the wife has you hooked as like a Gilmore Girl fan. So
Oh man.
and then I've got the great thumbnail if we were talking Star Wars for a few. Yeah, he's a Star Wars nerd too, guys. So where are you at on pop culture these days? Like there's been so much content generated, and I take a lot of heat by my face palming of not being a fan and having to hate watch some stuff to get through. And Zax, if you're still there, I've got like spam bot stuff that hit us. He's also a mod, so he can hammer that for us. But where you at on the pop culture side of all this nonsense? Because I don't know,
man.
It's rough to find good stuff sometimes.
It is. It's hard to find good news stuff. I find myself going back to like watching The Office over, for like the 12th time. Like Arrested Development, like these kind of things that are just like out there. But man, I don't know if you guys have hopped into The Chosen. Have you done The Chosen yet?
I haven't. My wife got into it. Season 3 is getting ready to start, so I've got to catch up so we can kind of watch season 3 together.
Let's just be honest. A lot of Christians entertainment tends to be a little bit on the cheesy side.
Mm-hmm.
I think they have done an excellent job of making it so well done. So well done.
Cool.
So yeah, if you're gonna binge something, binge Jesus is what I think they say. And hop on the Chosen train, and it's our favorite show right now. I think I just watched season 1 and 2 again. I love it. It's Jesus's story through the eyes of his disciples.
Okay.
So you get to see it's a different take on Jesus's ministry, right? So you're getting to know the backstory a little bit more on these disciples and what they've gone through and what they left to follow Jesus. It's been really cool.
Bobby asks, is there any Disney Star Wars that you like? Because
we're talking about
the fandom trap right there. Because they all know that I am struggling greatly with the mediocrity at best of some of this stuff, and I know honestly, Austin doesn't want to hate on it.
I know my favorite one so far, honestly, is Rogue One. Like I feel like it was just one of the better ones done. Just because I think it also is like nostalgic, it has that nostalgic aspect of it. And I feel like they try to introduce the nostalgic stuff into other things, but like the new storylines, like they trip me out. So like, I'm like, man, it just feels like you're grasping, here.
I'm telling you, this guy's one of us. I'm telling you, he understands. He watched Kenobi and just sat there like, I don't understand. He watched Boba Fett and saw those Vespas and went, no.
What is that?
No, what is that all about? What's the go-go power Vespas happening? No.
Oh, man. Man. I honestly wasn't a huge Mandalorian fan either. Like, I tried to get into it. There was just a couple things. I'm like, come on. Like, why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? But yeah, so if I had to choose one, Rogue One is probably one of my favorite of the newer releases. Sure. And that's kind of where I land on it.
That's good. It's always good. It's always good to catch up with Austin. And like I said, folks, the links are there in the description. We're talking about Jam Tour. Kicks off in 2023. Going to be coming, starting in Central Florida, my neck of the woods. And hence the reason I guess they want to talk to old Pops. Was they're like, oh, I'm down here. It's my general area, that kind of thing. But yeah, look at the map. See, there's something for you. Yeah, anyway, so it's a great night out. $15 raw at the door. You can get Jam Nation tickets a little bit cheaper and that kind of thing. So
Oh yeah.
But I'm going to try to keep him backstage for just one more second to talk to him. Thank you, everyone, for being in, dropping in. If you're dropping in after the fact, we love your comments and all that stuff. So hit it up. I know this was a very spontaneous stream. I'm way outside my normal scheduling. Got all that. But hey, there it is. And it's definitely something that I believe in and that I've been partnered with for a long time and love very much. So with that, we'll talk to all you folks soon. And hopefully also hang with me just for 1 second.
Yeah.